Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Well, some significant developments are basically shaping the trucking industry for 2024, and that is exactly what we will be talking about today. Again, for those of you who have been part of this community for a while now, know that I do not make predictions. I theorize. So let's theorize together and take a look at how this domino effect that is starting to happen right now might influence the freight market as well as the trucking industry as a whole in 2024. Ready? Let's go! So many of us are pretty puzzled about the exact cause of the current freight market. We know that it's bad, but the question of why actually ended up inviting a ton of finger pointing in all sorts of directions. It's the broker's fault. No, it's the carrier's fault. Nope, it's the shipper's fault. Immigrants are the reason. Or no, my favorite one of all, it's Miranda's fault and this channel's fault that the freight market is crashing right now, and so on and so forth. The reality is, at the epicenter of all of our problems is overcapacity. And from there, the issue either intensifies because of the current economic conditions, or it ends up branching out into other issues. So first, let's talk about capacity. So this week, FreightWaves released an article, actually an interview, with the CFO of Reliance Partners, which is a pretty sizable insurance broker in this industry. Now, according to Thom Albrecht, I might be pronouncing his name wrong, but he's the CFO of Reliance Partners. And I quote, "The numbers in both large and small carriers are declining. We have seen over 20% of our customer base cease operating this year with an average fleet size of 4 to 5 units. Now, to top it off, if we look a little bit into the future, something interesting is happening. Reliance Partners decided to get very picky about who they sign on as a carrier to give insurance to, who is going to get insurance from them. Because of the rampant fraud that is happening in this industry, and I quote, Reliance Partners have tried to focus on signing up entities that have been in business at least 2 or 3 years. So I have to agree with you guys here. While entering the trucking industry is relatively easy, especially if you're comparing before the deregulation happened, right? It's quite possible that more and more insurance providers who have already started doing this will implement even stricter barriers, which will make it maybe easy to get into the trucking industry, but very difficult for new entrants and new carriers to actually start operating, because insurance is not going to be easy to get anymore. And this is all because of the rampant fraud and the double brokering that is happening in the industry right now. So now let's take a look into our murky crystal ball to try and understand what might happen in the near future to the contract market. Now, according to the Journal of Commerce, and I quote, "Truckload freight brokers that anticipate higher rates next spring are urging shippers to lock in contractual rates in the first quarter because they might be the lowest rates of the year. But other brokers and shippers aren't clear about when rates may rise and by how much." Now, the CCO of Nolan Transportation Group, a broker that I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with, is starting to urge his clients, his big shippers, to start locking in those contract rates low right now because, and I quote, "By March, we're going to see pricing gradually move up." So what does this mean? Well, in theory, it means that those contract rates that are currently paying over 80 cents per mile more than the spot market are going to gradually start slipping while shippers try to hold on to that low transportation cost as long as they can. So what are shippers doing in order to prepare for the potential turnaround in the market in mid-2024? Well, some are saying, and this is also according to one of the articles from the Journal of Commerce, I'll attach all of these down below, they're saying that they're actually going to be relying primarily on the spot market versus the contract market because they believe that they're going to be able to save more money by focusing on the spot market. Now, on one hand, this proves to us something that we already know, that the spot market is in the dumps. But on the other hand, if shippers really start focusing more on the spot market and moving their loads via the free market, they will, with their own hands, start turning the situation around for spot carriers. As shippers rely on the spot market in order to move their freight to save more money on transportation costs, what they are doing, they're also pushing more volume into the spot market. Now, pair that with the fact that capacity is decreasing right now. Guess which way that load to truck ratio pendulum is going to swing. But there is another thing that some shippers are doing in order to prepare for the uncertainty that lies ahead. And I quote by the Journal of Commerce. U.S. shippers are increasingly putting control of their freight into their own hands, boosting the use of their own privately operated fleets despite a truckload market favorable to them. Dollar General expanded from 368 trucks to 1,242 trucks in 3 years. Amazon went from 4,578 of their own trucks to 15,125 trucks in 3 years. Walmart from 8,507 trucks in their fleet to 12,023 trucks, and all of them are planning to continue expanding. So yeah, the bigger shippers are starting to rely on themselves in order to move their own freight, right? To save on transportation costs and not rely on outside carriers. And what does that mean? If more and more shippers start expanding their own fleets and moving their own stuff, guess what? The volume is not going to the spot and contract carrier anymore. So basically, it's an interesting little development that is happening. But I do have a question for all of you, for those that know, what is the percentage of volume that comes from these huge shippers to the spot or the contract market? Now, this is a question that I am going to find an answer to eventually. I'm just very curious about what kind of volume are we talking about if we take into consideration that huge shippers might start moving their own stuff. So what's next for 2024? Is it going to be a boom or is it going to be another bust? Well, according to Craig Fuller of FreightWaves, he believes that spot rates are going to go down another 4 to 5 cents per mile in Q1 of 2024. But no more than that because, and I quote, carriers are simply underwater. And when they're underwater, they have a choice. They can either leave the industry entirely or they can continue to run just for enough cash flow. A lot of carriers can operate at a loss for a while and hope the market will return. Now, I'm not sure if I agree with the 4 to 5 cent per mile decrease, but I do agree with the fact that rates will definitely go down in Q1 of 2024 because this is the pattern that is being followed every single year. And of course, as rates continue to decrease, the carrier exits will start increasing. Now, for a moment here, I know we have talked about brokers so much, but for a moment here, let's talk about brokers. Again, I quote, freight brokers get squeezed when that spot rate comes up and the contract rate stays flat or comes down. And if we believe the contract rate is going to go down a few percent next year and the spot rates are going to increase, we will see margin compression. That's when a lot of brokers will feel substantial pain because they won't get the strong spreads that they have been getting. So to put it plainly, number one, capacity is decreasing and Reliance Partners, which is a pretty sizable insurance broker, is reporting that 20% of their customer base has ceased operations within the last year. Now, to top it off from previous videos, we already know that that capacity is not really getting absorbed by larger carriers because the jobs, the for-hire trucking jobs, are down by 5,000 jobs as of October. Number two, insurance companies are starting to put stricter barriers which are not allowing new carriers to get insurance as easily. So with stricter barriers or without insurance, of course, anyone can come into this industry, but you cannot operate without insurance. Number three, a lot of shippers are preparing for the market to swing in the opposite direction in mid-2024. Some of them are looking to renegotiate lower contract rates in order to save money on transportation. Others believe that they're going to have more luck saving money if if they work only off the spot market. And then there are some that are deciding to expand their own fleets and taking control of the situation as much as they can. Number 4, and this is the final point, brokers are not going to benefit from a situation where contract rates are going down while spot rates are going up, because that's when their margins are going to be squeezed. And that is going to prompt more broker shutdowns, which is going to also prompt more carrier shutdowns because of non-payment. So guys, we're in for a hell of a ride in the next few months. I have nothing more to say other than hold on to your seats, fasten your seatbelts, get some popcorn, and start observing the drama happening all around. At least that's what it seems like to me. I don't know about you guys. Again, these are just theories based in current data and current information. We will see how everything actually works out. Wishing you guys all a wonderful day, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.